Well, I guess it's time for a suspension video. Waarom gaat jy voet uithaal? What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So if you're new, you're missing out on so much, so I'd recommend you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. Anyway, for today's video I thought I'm going to show you guys how I set up my air suspension on my Specialized bike. Now this is just guidelines. It's not going to say that it's exactly what you're going to need for your suspension, but it will definitely get you to about 95% on your bike. Now I'm only going to show you guys the pressure, the PSI that you're going to get your shock of fork to, and that should get you guys, like I said, to about 95%. Now what you usually do is, and I'll put it on the screen, for the rear shock, what you do is you take your body weight, and this is now, like I said, it's just a few examples, and you can try to follow that to get yourself close to the right pressure on your suspension. So what you do is you take your body weight. For my example, I'm quite heavy. So you take your body weight and then you do the next thing. Alright, so what you usually do is you just take your body weight. Let's say for example it's 101.2 kilograms, and then you're going to take that, you're going to take 101.2 kilograms and you're going to multiply it by 1.8, and that will give you the PSI that you need to pump your rear suspension to. And if you take your calculator and you put in there 101.2, just get to the calculator real quick. So let's say you take 101.2 kilograms times 1.8, that will give you 182.16. So you're going to take your suspension and pump it to 182.16 or 26 PSI. That's for the rear suspension. For the front suspension there's a different calculation we're going to do, but I'll show you guys in just a bit. So yeah, let's do that. Alright, and then for the front suspension or the fork, what you usually do is you take your body weight and then you times it by 1.3. I'm not going to show you the whole little sum there because obviously that's easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Auto-Sag on my shock, and then we'll see how close it gets to that little calculation that we just did. Now what I usually do is I do make my suspension a little bit harder than what the Auto-Sag will show, or what that little calculation we did shows. So I usually go to about 1.9 almost on my suspension. The front one, usually you take your body weight times 1.3 to 1.4, and then you get to the suspension on that. But just remember, all the suspensions differ. So if you've got an SR Suntour or Manitou, RockShox or Fox, there might be small adjustments you'll have to make in this pressure to make sure that it's right for your body weight. What you can do is, not on all of them, but most of the suspensions, especially on RockShox, you've got that little indication chart there that shows you, listen, you can pump it to this or to that, and that's something pretty good you can follow as well. So what we'll do is, I'll do my rear suspension Auto-Sag, we'll see how close it gets to that calculation we just made, and then what we'll do is, we'll do the front one. I'll take my body weight, I'll multiply it by 1.4 to 1.5 maybe, we'll just see, and then we'll use that little chart there that they show on the suspension and see how close we are to that. But if you want, and if you've got one of those, you can just use it, pump it according to that. This is just basically how I set up my suspension. So like I said again, it might not be perfect for you, but it's definitely going to be some guidelines that will get you closer to that. So let's do my Auto-Sag quickly and we'll see how close we are. Alright guys, this is just something that I do. It's not something that you necessarily have to do, but at the end it kind of makes sense. Usually when you go ride, you've got 2 full bottles of water or energy or whatever you ride with. You've got your computer on there, you've got your little backlight or whatever, and when I do my suspension, I usually take 2 bottles, I fill them half with water, or you can take 1 bottle and fill it just to the top with water. And then you've got that little bit of extra weight before you start setting up your suspension. Now on an auto-sag, for a normal suspension that doesn't have the brain, you're going to take your body weight times 1.8 and you should be very close. But on your auto-sag for the specialized bike, what you're going to do is, I'm going to open the little valve on this side. You can follow the instructions on the suspension as well. But while we're busy with this, I'm going to show you guys. You're going to hook up your little shock pump. And then what you do is, you basically inflate it to 300 psi. Now you must just check on your little shock pump there. There's a psi and a bar. So your psi is on the outside and the bar is obviously on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly inflate it to 300 psi. If you are, let's say, I'm going to say below 75 kilograms rider, then you don't have to take it to 300 psi. It's not necessary. I mean, I'm about 101 kilograms at the moment, so I'm going to take it close to 300 psi and then we'll see what we can get. Now I've taken this one to 250 psi, I'm not going to take it anymore. It's around about 18 bar, which is quite a lot. Alright, so you've done that, you've inflated it to about 300 psi or 250 where I am at the moment. I'm going to take off your little shock pump here. Put back the little cap. And then one thing you need to make sure of is before you do this, is just to change your brain suspension to the soft setting at the back. You can have it on firm, but when you're riding, but just set it to soft. And then what you're going to do is you're going to open the release valve or the auto-sag valve. It's the silver one, or some of them are pink. And open that one there. And now we're going to just put down the camera, and I'm going to ask Armand to hold the bike for me, and then I'll show you guys what happens when we do the auto-sag on this. So let's do it. Alright, so then the final step is get onto your bike and sit in your riding position. Just put it like that. Or if you don't have anyone that can hold the bike for you, just lean against the wall. Get onto your bike, resume your riding position, and then I'm going to ask Armand just to press the release valve for me. But if you don't have anyone, you can just press it yourself as well. So you'll see the bike kind of goes into the position it's going to have you for your weight. So you basically do that just once. In the past I thought you must do it twice, but once is more than enough. Now I'm going to get off the bike, I'm going to take the pressure again, and then we'll see how close we get to that 1.8 times calculation that we make. But I am going to inflate it about 2 or 3 pumps more, because I do like my suspension a little bit harder than usual. Alright, so we took my body weight and we timed it by 1.8, or multiplied by 1.8. And we got 182.16 psi. So we're going to check how close this brings it to that. But like I said, I will give it a pump or 2 more, because I do like my suspension a bit harder. I think that's a lot of guys buy dual suspension and they inflate the rear shock till max, because they're buying a dual suspension as to say they've got one of them. Alright, so this is actually quite a lot more than I thought it would be. This is almost 210 psi, which is not bad, and that's basically what I think I'll keep it. But yeah, 1.8, then you're very close to where you should be, and that's about 20 psi difference between the calculation we did and to where the brain suspension took it. But like I said, the suspensions do have different weights and settings and pressures that you can inflate them to get to your perfect body weight or pressure on your on your suspension. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to quickly, while we're busy with this, quickly going to check the front one on this little chart here. So on the chart it says, if you are about 90 kilograms plus, you'll inflate this to around about 135 psi. Now I usually pumped my suspension to about 150 for the front, so I'm going to see how close I am to that. So let's check here. I know I haven't checked this for a while now. Yeah, at the moment this one is 110 psi, but like I said, I haven't checked this in a very long time, so I'm going to take it to let's make it 140, 130, let's make it 130, because I haven't been riding for a while as well, so I don't want to make it too hard and then it's not why I want it. So yeah, guys, that's just a quick guideline or tip how you can set up your suspension. And this is not a rebound video or anything, so if you want more specific details on rebound, climbing settings, all those things, please let me know. Please let me know, and I'll do a video on that as well. This is basically just the pressure on your suspension. So rear one, take your body weight times 1.8 to 1.9, you should be very, very close to the perfect pressure setting. And then for the front one, you're going to take your body weight times 1.3 to 1.5, and you should be very, very close. So yeah, I'm going to do some motivation afterwards, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy.